Well, it looks like community notes may be a powerful feature in preventing yet another summer of love, because the entire mainstream media seems to be pushing this insane narrative of a Saint Floyd 2.0 when every bit of evidence, including all of the video evidence, is even more clear that the incident was a matter of self-defense. It's so wild to see CNN and other mainstream media people come out and literally try to get people to misbehave. I mean, that's exactly what's going on here. Here's Omar Jimenez, right? This was at 6:51 last night. This tweet received very little traction, thankfully, thanks to a community note. But that won't stop CNN from trying to push this narrative that it's time to get back out in the streets. You know, Mad Maxine Waters is going to say, get out there in the streets, wink peacefully, or whatever they do to absolve themselves from any kind of legal responsibility. Burn a Wendy's down for old what's-his-name. Or get yourself a new LG HD TV for old what's-his-name. Here you have, how did a traffic stop for not wearing a seatbelt end with 96 lead injections, an injured officer, and a 26-year-old who's no longer with us? Some say it's because Dexter Reed... It's so funny that they say, some say it's because the perpetrator fired first, as the initial investigation shows. Some believe the stop never should have happened in the first place. I want you to hear how this CNN loser spins this. Again, let me read that. Some say it's because the perpetrator fired first. By the way, the video evidence says that. Okay, the video evidence says that. Some say it's because he fired first. Again, we know he did, as the initial investigation shows. But some believe the stop never should have happened in the first place. Let's say we even agree on the second part. Okay, let's say we agree on the second part. I don't know anything about the scenario, but let's say we agree. Doesn't matter, because the second that this good boy who didn't do nothing wrong, who is a future doctor or future architect, and everyone's going to get those Technicolor shirts printed up for him because he was just a good boy who never did anything wrong, initiated this, by the way. And this person got ruthlessly dunked on. You see Steve Voiser, how did a traffic stop for not wearing a seatbelt end with a scumbag firing on PD 11 times? Fixed it for you. I mean, it is so insane. And of course, the usual suspects, all these by large mansions people, the people who are in it for themselves, the people who are just looking for an excuse or a reason to be a perpetrator of bad behavior, now out on the streets. Furious BLM protesters clash with Chicago PD after video showed a good boy who didn't do nothing wrong ever before and was just minding his own business pick a fight that he couldn't win. Let's put it that way. All right. Again, if we agree the stop shouldn't have happened, we can even agree on that. But even if that's true, in what scenario does that then allow for this good boy that never did anything wrong, buy the t-shirt, to have his image immortalized? What justified him then, opening fire? I mean, it's just so stupid. I mean, and the media, whips this up into a fury, Furious BLM activists have clashed. This person, again, effed around and found out. On Tuesday, of course, PD released the footage of the encounter and showed, there was let's just say they were really making sure the threat was neutralized. Okay. I don't care how many it takes, that's what they teach you, by the way, in self-defense. And, when you're in PD, if you're going to say that you're fearing for yourself, then you unload, then you mag dump. That's how they're trained. That's what they do. That's why, you get the headline, 96 pieces of lead. Doesn't matter if it was 196, as long as they were well aimed. Okay. 96 is scary. You worry about any innocent bystanders. But if that would have happened, it still would have been this good boy who never did anything wrong. We don't need armed PD to tell someone to put their seatbelt on. One protester told the crowd in a video captured by Fox, "Hey, I agree. I 100% agree with you. I think seatbelt laws are dumb. If I don't want to wear a seatbelt, that's my choice." All right? I think that's 100% fine. And if insurance companies want to say, "Hey, we're going to send out a device to make sure you're wearing your seatbelt and we'll give you lower rates for it," I think that's fine. Okay? So this is you go from an argument of something that we can all agree on, then you make it about color and you make it about everything else. Now, I assume it wasn't just for the seatbelt. His vehicle had tinted windows, so the argument that they were enforcing seatbelt laws doesn't even make sense. By the way, as somebody who's been pulled over for tint before, it happens all the time. PD said they pulled him over for not wearing a seatbelt, but then Andrew Stroth, an attorney for the family, branded the stop unconstitutional, claiming the plainclothes PD did not announce. I'm sure they did. Body cam footage shows the plainclothes unit approaching the vehicle and ordering to roll his window down. Reed is then seen resisting orders to roll his window down. Suddenly, everything went down. Chaos ensues. At one point, you've got all sorts of other things going on, right? Yes, they always post the picture. Here he is graduating. He's got a baby. Here's his baby mama who's pregnant. He is a good boy with everything in front of him. This looks like a mugshot. Again, I don't really understand the argument. Now, I would side with you if it was an unconstitutional stop and they arrested him or gave him a ticket or used that to unlawfully search his vehicle or something like that. Really, I would. And I think that's true of any. I think cops got bigger problems than pulling people over for their seatbelts or window tint, to be honest with you. But that said, that's not what these people are out in the streets doing. And by the way, again, Community Notes may have just stopped the Summer of Love 2.0. At a press conference, of course, the lawyer, the guy's not even on the ground yet, but the family's got a lawyer, clout riding. At a press conference, the mom told the crowd, I would probably be mourning my kid, but I guess whatever. He was just riding around and then they ended him, she wailed. And that's not what happened. We can see the evidence. I'm sure you'll see people like Donut Operator break it down. The incident, of course, again, like I said, a good boy who's never done anything wrong. The incident came just days after he'd appeared in court on firearm charges, where PD allegedly discovered him carrying a loaded weapon without a license. By the way, I don't think you should have a license for that, okay? We agree on that. But I'm just saying that this, again, was somebody that was not following the law. I don't agree with that law. There are lots of laws I don't agree with. But that's the law. If you don't like it, then you should, vote for constitutional carry in your state, like some states have. I 100% support that. The Second Amendment does not give you the right to bear arms with a license. Now, I'm sure that wasn't their argument, but there you go. So again, you have, another good boy who just didn't do anything wrong ever, clearly not that, getting involved in a stupid situation, making a stupid decision, and the entire community is going to pay. Now, this kid is no longer with us. I assume if that's him, now his baby will not have a father, and that sucks. Okay, but none of that has to do with the cops pulling this guy over. It has everything to do with every decision he made after that fact. What the media is trying to push, the media narrative, of course, is that, I bet you half these cops are black too. Just saying. Just saying, I bet you, because that's why we haven't seen any pictures of the officers. I suspect a lot of officers in New York City are that. And here's this CNN correspondent gets nuked by Community Notes. It's so wild to me. The media is trying to push a new Floyd movement after police incident. The reality shows the individual fired nonstop at law enforcement. Won't stop people from going in the streets, won't stop people from going out for old what's his name and doing crime, of course. All right, look, you want to talk about constitutional carry, we can, and I'll agree. You want to talk about getting pulled over for window tint or seatbelts, we'll probably agree, and that is regardless of color. But you want to talk about using that to then justify firing upon them and then whining about what happens after the fact. We're not going to agree. We can agree that we disagree with certain laws, but they are still the law, and you made a conscious decision not to follow it. And now let's just wait for all the grifters. I assume they're building the statue already. If you're informed by this video, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below. And we'll talk to you again real soon.